Welcome to another exciting edition of Gen Next TV. My name is Aaron Grider, the voice of Generation Next Pro Wrestling, and welcome to what a great episode we have for you this evening. Action-packed as you see in the ring right now, the Gen Next Heavyweight Champion, Victor Vargas, is in action as he takes on the dangerous rock star Andrew Reed. And this ought to be quite an interesting encounter, as we know next week it's going to be free pay-per-view quality action as Gen Next Pro Wrestling proudly brings to you Unmatched next week right here on Gen Next TV. That's right, no charge to you, absolutely free. Gen Next TV brings to you Unmatched next week. On that show, you will see the current reigning Gen Next Pro Heavyweight Champion, Victor Vargas, who is in action right now. He is going to be defending that title against the #1 contender, Drew Dillinger, who got a win last week in a triple threat match against Zodiac and Brawler Morrison. Speaking of Drew Dillinger, speaking of Zodiac, they are going to go one-on-one tonight in our main event. Drew Dillinger, Zodiac is your main event tonight on Gen Next TV. And we are well on our way to not only Unmatched next week, but as well to Saturday night, October the 2nd, as Generation Next Pro Wrestling proudly brings to you Desire in Cynthiana, Kentucky, as we once again present a live event in Cynthiana, Kentucky. And again, you see Victor Vargas, who has been on a roll. He's taken on all challengers, all comers, not back down from a challenge. Right now, he's got his hands full with Andrew Reed. Oh, nice splash in the corner. This would be a big, big feather in the cap of Andrew Reed. If he could pull off this win tonight over Victor Vargas, you would have to believe that a win over Victor Vargas tonight would catapult Andrew Reed up the rankings, up into contendership for the Gen Next Pro Heavyweight title, which again will be defended right here next week on Unmatched against Drew Dillinger as he gets his one-on-one shot against Victor Vargas. Be sure, ladies and gentlemen, to follow us on social media. Like our Facebook page, Generation Next Pro Wrestling. Follow us on Twitter at GNextPro. And then don't forget to join our Patreon. You get all kinds of exclusive content. Patreon.com/GNPW. And make sure you keep up with all the action right here in Gen Next Pro Wrestling, because there have been a lot of things happening. Plenty of things to discuss as we head forward to our Unmatched event next week here on Gen Next TV. And that card, in case you have been, I guess I won't say living under a rock, but in case you haven't been paying attention, we have a fantastic card for you next week on Unmatched here on Gen Next TV. As I've mentioned a couple times already, the man currently in the ring, Victor Vargas, defends his title against Drew Dillinger for the Gen Next Pro Heavyweight title. You're also going to see a tape fist lights out match with the other man in our main event tonight, Zodiac, taking on Brawler Morrison. Both men will have their fists taped up, and they are going to go toe-to-toe next week in a tape fist lights out match. And Andrew Reed, he was doing well for a while, but now he's kind of He tried to go after the head of Victor Vargas, and we all know that's not the way to attack Victor. And we have seen Victor Vargas just overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and taking on all challengers. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful move by Andrew Reed. Could that be it? Not quite. Victor Vargas showing that toughness. Again, what a win that this would be for Andrew Reed. Andrew going up top, that high risk. We've seen it up there before. Oh, he missed though. Victor Vargas showing his wherewithal, being aware of his surroundings, rolled out of the way. And now Victor up to the top. Driving Andrew Reed down. Could that be it? No! And now Andrew Reed showing his toughness. What a great encounter this has been to open up Gen Next TV. Victor Vargas trying to get that momentum heading into next week. He got caught coming in, but his head bounced right out the buckle, and he's up. Oh! Again, I don't think Andrew Reed understands. Oh, now he might. What a headbutt. And that's it. Victor Vargas using his head, literally, to get the win as your Gen Next Pro Heavyweight title, heavyweight champion, making his way to Unmatched next week on Gen Next TV. And we will be right back with more action.
Welcome to Vargas country. Zodiac, tonight, you and I, one-on-one. But I have to ask, what can you even do? A black hole doesn't have the same density or strength as the hate child of the unstoppable force in the immovable object. I don't have a heart either. When I'm standing with my foot on your neck and my hand raised, you will remember I didn't choose violence. Violence chose me.
Get what you want without getting tied down. You're in control of Rent-A-Center with no long-term commitment and no credit needed. Right now, get an Ashley Sofa Chase or an LG 65-inch Smart TV. Your choice, just $19.99 a week at rentacenter.com.
Gary Gandy, I brought you onto my show, Gen Next TV. And you want to embarrass me, you want to bring up the name of Big Mama. Never again. Gary, when is the last time you were on TV? No one even watches SmackDown anymore, Gary. And you want to step to me? Well, guess what? There's one thing Derrick James has never done, and that is lost a tag team match. And that's why I'm challenging you to a tag team match tonight.
If there's anything that you're lucky at, you're lucky you could win the lottery, because if there's Flash Thompson knows tag team wrestling. Hell, Flash Thompson knows professional wrestling better than anyone. And you might as well buy yourself a Powerball ticket if you're gonna win the lottery tonight. Hell, I'll take you under my learning tree, kid. You might learn a thing or two.
You might learn a thing or two from me.
It sounds like 30 keys of the consequences. Hope the dogs don't smell. Welcome to Vigilante. Hey, so don't you killing up like the Sandy examine my orchestra. Represent.
Just like that. Let's go. Move back. I mean, it's not, I'll take it.
All right, ready? You ready? Ring the bell.
And we are back with more Generation Next Pro Wrestling action. And we have a lot. We need a lot to talk about. As you saw before the break, Derek James has, he's not very happy about what happened last week with Gary Gandy. And so now he's talking about the one match that Derek James has never lost is a tag team match. So tonight, Derek James seems to have recruited Flash Thompson, and later on tonight it's going to be Derek James and Flash Thompson against Gary Gandy and a partner of his choice. Who will Gary Gandy get? We'll find out later tonight. But right now, these two teams, the team of Outlast, Jacob Torrance, Kellen Craven, and the team of the Native Sons, Kimba and DC, they both want the same thing. They both want CM Squared, the team of Gaston LaRue and Cameron Saturn, who have been doing their darndest to keep these two teams fighting at each other. Thanks to help from Franklin Bernard, thanks to help from CM Squared. CM Squared has used every tactic in the book to steal wins from Outlast, to steal wins from the Native Sons. CM Squared also stole a win from Nate Gnarly at TLC back at our last live event. So all of this is leading to next week here on Unmatched. The winners of this match, whichever team wins, whether it be Kimba and DC or whether it be Outlast, they get what they want. They get CM Squared next week in a tag team match on Unmatched here on Gen Next TV. Then who could forget the match that these two teams had at Ignition when they battled all over the building. They beat the absolute tar out of one another in a street fight. And now they're back at it again, but this time they have a common enemy. These two teams still don't get along, but they both really don't get along with CM Squared. And only one of these teams can get that shot next week at CM Squared. So we'll see who's going to be able to stay focused. Kimba firing up. Nice back body drop. And I am sure that CM Squared is looking on quite a bit interested in this match to see who they're going to face next week on Unmatched. Again, next week, Unmatched. It's free. Absolutely free. No cost. It is going to be an absolutely spectacular event. And we hope you join us. We hope you tune in next week. Because not only are we going to have CM Squared taking on one of these teams, we're going to have Victor Vargas defending the Gen Next Pro Heavyweight title against Drew Dillinger. We're going to have a lights out tape fist match with Zodiac against Brawler Morris. That match, I assure you fans, will not be for the weak of heart. It will be brutal. They're going to settle it once and for all. They're going to tape up their fists and they're going to brawl and fight until one man is standing victorious. Next week, Zodiac, Brawler Morrison in a lights out taped fist match. You will not want to miss that one. And in fact, I have been informed that match, the lights out taped fist match, will be starting off Unmatched. That will be the first match you see next week. Will be the lights out tape fist match between Zodiac and Brawler Morrison. But again, right now the business at hand is figure out which one of these teams gets a shot next week at CM Squared. Which one of these teams gets what they want. Which one of these teams gets Gaston LaRue and Cameron Saturn and gets a shot at revenge? We'll find out here momentarily. Right now, it's the Native Sons in control. And again, both teams, they want the same thing. They're in each other's way, and CM Squared has done a great job of pitting these two teams against one another. And CM Squared has used distraction after distraction after distraction to get wins over both of these teams. So obviously, like I said, both these teams, they want the same thing, but they're in each other's way. And only one of them can get that shot. Only one of them can get that chance next week at Unmatched. Right now, it's looking pretty good for the Native Sons. Nice double team move there. But not enough to get the win. Both these teams are tough. Both these teams will pull out all the stops. We know that from their street fight at Ignition. Nice enziguri kick. Jacob Torrance trying to get to his partner. But Kimba there to stop it. Stop the momentum. Jacob going for that kick again. Going to the well too much. Oh! And he caught Kimba that time. And Kimba is staggered. And here comes Kellen Craven. And he has been waiting his turn patiently on the outside. And wait a minute, here comes DC. Oh, Kelly used that quickness, moving out of the way. DC landed into Kimba, and here we go. Kellen Craven has got. Oh, could that be it? No! He knocked DC out of the way, but it wasn't enough to stop him from breaking up the pin. And we've got absolute chaos. Oh, man, what a punch. What a punch by DC. And it is absolute chaos right now. Referee seems to have lost control. DC got caught coming, and now where's Jacob Torrance going? Oh, beautiful move. He tried to go for like a moonsault, but DC caught him. Oh, with a little assist. Kicks out the leg of DC thanks to Kellen Craven. And now Kellen Craven and Kimba firing shots at each other. Look at this. Oh my gosh, what a spinning kick. And now Kellen, one of his own. And now everybody's down. These guys are giving it all they have for one goal, for one shot at CM Squared. All these guys, these two teams putting everything they have, putting their heart and soul into it. Wait a minute. Speaking of CM Squared, what is Franklin Bernard doing out here? He's standing in the middle of the ring. I don't know really what's going on, and I don't know if this was the smartest idea to come out here and just get in the middle of all this. Wait, they ripped the mask off, but he's got another one. And here comes CM Squared. What in the world? And CM Squared is in the ring with steel chairs, laying waste to everybody. It's DC didn't like. Oh! 2 chair shots on DC, takes him down. But who's gonna face CM Squared next week? What is going on? We don't have a winner here. We got to figure this out. This is mass chaos, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's got to face CM Square, but they've laid out everybody. We'll try to sort this out, and we'll be back with more Gen Next TV.
That's right, baby! See you square! All day! Look at him right here! See you square! My boy!
Derek James! Last week, you invited me on to Gen Next TV. Yes, I was on SmackDown. Yes, I mentioned Big Mama's name. But I beat you. And this week, I'm back on Gen Next TV. You challenged me to a tag team match. You have a partner in Flash Thompson. I have a partner. And I am excited about my partner. Hey, cameraman, was that good? Hey, you just want to be my partner? I really need one. Good? All right, sweet. I'll see you tonight. Next!
For the last 20 years, I've dedicated my life to professional wrestling to get where I am today. For the last 5, I have shaped and molded professional wrestlers all over the country, and that is exactly what I'm doing in Cynthiana, Kentucky at Legends Pro Wrestling Academy, 101 Hingston. What took me 20 years to achieve has become my goal to make a fraction of the time for your success. Email me now, legendsprowrestlingacademy@gmail.com. Send that message, make that dream a reality. Let's knock out the wrestling business together today.
Mr. Gen Next TV, baby!
We are back with more Gen Next TV. More news coming up in just a second. But it seems that Gary Gandy has indeed found himself a tag team partner. And obviously it shouldn't come as that much of a surprise that once Flash Thompson was announced as a tag team partner for Derek James, that Freddie Hudson would be like, you know what? Let me get in there. Let me get my hands on Flash Thompson, because we know that Flash Thompson and Freddie Hudson have had some issues, shall we say. And thanks to Flash stealing a couple of wins from Freddie, and he's used a chain to steal that win from Freddie Hudson. And now we're going to see exactly what he can do tonight in this tag team match. We also know it's been made official that next week at Unmatched, and I don't know how this is actually going to work. It is going to be an Ultimate Endurance Iron Man match. And what that is we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock. And Derek James is going to go one-on-one with Gary Gandy. No matter what, that match is going to last 10 minutes. And two gentlemen who, to say the least, struggle a little bit to win matches. Neither one of them, especially in Derek James' case, despite his tendency to tell you that he's undefeated, neither one of them have great track records. So instead of having to win a match, they could very theoretically have to win multiple times within 10 minutes. It is whoever can score the most falls within that 10 minutes will be the winner. And again, it's two guys who, quite frankly, don't win a lot. How many wins will it take? How many falls will it take? Will it take 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 falls? Like how many will it take for one man to be the Ultimate Endurance winner and be able to say that he outlasted his opponent. We'll see that next week at Unmatched. So we shall see what is going to happen with that. That ought to be quite an interesting match. And again, both guys recruited their own tag team partners. We saw Gary Gandy actually try to recruit the cameraman, but he ended up with Freddie Hudson, which, no offense to the cameraman, but I'm going to figure that Freddie Hudson is probably a better option than the cameraman would have been. And Freddie obviously wants to get his hands on Flash Thompson. That he has obviously shown that over the past couple weeks, taking great offense to the fact that Flash stole a win from him with that chain. That is not the only time that we've seen Flash use that chain. And he has taken several wins by use of that loaded fist, so to speak, as he has wrapped a chain around his fist and used it to get several wins here at Gen Next. But right now, Gary Gandy is in big time trouble with Flash Thompson and Derek James. And again, we've been talking about it all night. Next week, free, right here on Gen Next TV, it's going to be Unmatched. And we've got a loaded card. We've already talked about Zodiac Brawler Morrison and a Lights Out Tape Fist match. We've got Gary Gandy and Derek James, as I just mentioned moments ago, in an Ultimate Endurance Ironman match where we put 10 minutes on the clock, and two guys who are not known for winning matches are going to have to try to win as many times as they can within 10 minutes. And of course, we've already touched on it as well for the Gen Next Pro Heavyweight Championship. Victor Vargas defends that belt against the #1 contender, Drew Dillinger, in what will be one of Victor's toughest tests to date. One-on-one with Drew Dillinger next week at Unmatched. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, keep track of us on social media. Follow us on Twitter at GNextPro. Like us on Facebook, Generation Next Pro Wrestling. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/GNPW. And keep tabs on all the great action here at Generation Next Pro Wrestling. And Derek James is taking an absolute beating. He has got to get to Freddie Hudson. He has got to get to that corner. And what a drop kick by Flash Thompson. Freddie Hudson trying to offer words of encouragement to Gary Gandy. And again, we hope you join us next week for Unmatched. It is free, no cost to you, a pay-per-view quality event. Next week is Generation Next Pro Wrestling's Unmatched. Also, don't forget, folks, Saturday night, October the 2nd, we return to Cynthiana, Kentucky for Generation Next Pro Wrestling Desire. Come see Gen Next Pro Wrestling live in Cynthiana, Kentucky. Come experience it for yourself. Saturday night, October the 2nd. We also mentioned earlier that for next week's Unmatched, the very first match that you will see next week is going to be Zodiac versus Brawler Morrison in that tape fist lights out match. That is the very first match that you will see next week on Unmatched. So do not be late. Make sure to tune in next week, because that fight, and that's exactly what it's going to be. It is going to be a fight with Zodiac Brawler Morrison. They're going to tape up the fist. They're going to fight, and they're going to beat each other until there is a clear and decisive winner. This has been brewing for months, and they are finally going to settle it next week. Tapes fist, lights out match. Brawler Morrison Zodiac will open the show next week at Unmatched. And Freddie Hudson finally got in the ring. And now we've got everybody in the ring. Well, Gary Gandy is in the ring, but he's not in good shape at the moment after the beating that he took. Nice clothesline by Flash. And Derek James was kind of celebrating. And Gary Gandy just shoved him into the pile. Oh, double clothesline over the top. And Gary Gandy is out on the floor with Derek. And referee 10-2 on the outside. Wait a minute, Flash Thompson got the chain. Oh no! Freddie kicked it out of his head. Now wait a minute. Freddie Hudson has, but the ref turns around and sees it. He's got to get that chain for Freddie. Freddie can't use it. Wait a minute. Flash has another chain. Oh, come on. He just clocked Freddie. And Flash Thompson steals one. Getting a win for him and Derek James. Steals yet another win using that chain. We'll be back with more action on Gen Next TV.
Drew Dillinger. You said, what can I do against the hatred? What can I do against a man without a heart? What can I do? It's not what I can do, Drew Dillinger. It's what these hands do. You see, when these hands creep deep in the aura of your soul, you will breathe in, you will breathe out, you will breathe in, and you will breathe out until your last breath.
We've talked about it for weeks, and now, finally, it's gonna happen next week, right here on Gen Next TV, live, free. It's gonna be Generation Next Pro Wrestling proudly brings to you Unmatched. Right here, Gen Next TV. It's a pay-per-view quality show for free right here next week. And what a stacked card we have for you. It's gonna be a taped fist, lights out match, one-on-one. Brawler Morrison takes on the hybrid monster Zodiac. These two big men have been after each other, have been in each other's way for weeks and weeks and weeks. And finally, they're going to settle it in a tape fist, lights out match, Brawler Morrison versus Zodiac. And then another score to be settled. It's a chains match. Both men are going to have chains wrapped around their fist, and chains are legal as Freddie Hudson goes for revenge against Flash Thompson. Flash has used the chain to steal some wins, and now he's going to take on Freddie Hudson in a match where chains are legal and both men will have chains wrapped around their fist. Can Freddie Hudson get revenge when he goes one-on-one with Flash Thompson? And then it's an ultimate endurance Iron Man match. The man who can get the most pins or falls or submissions, get the most wins in 10 minutes. It's going to be Gary Gandy versus Mr. Gen Next TV, Derek James. Both these men struggle to get wins. They struggle to win a match. Now it's going to be who can win the most falls in 10 minutes. Derek James, Gary Gandy next week at Unmatched. And then for the Generation Next Pro Heavyweight Championship, the challenger, Drew Dillinger, gets the match he's wanted. He's caused a path of destruction, and he gets his chance at Victor Vargas for the Gen Next Pro Heavyweight title at Unmatched. And then, because of the actions of CM Squared, they are now forced to enter in what may be the biggest main event in Gen Next history. It's triple threat. Anything goes. Falls count anywhere. CM Squared will now take on Outlast and the Native Sons. All three of these teams have issues with one another. They're going to settle it at Unmatched. Anything goes. Falls count anywhere. There must be a winner next week. So be sure to tune in next week, Gen Next Pro TV. It will be Generation Next Pro Wrestling proudly brings to you Unmatched. We are back for the main event, ladies and gentlemen. It is main event time, and Drew Dillinger wasting no time, jumping Zodiac right as the bell sounded. And both these men will be in action next week, as we are free, absolutely free, with Unmatched next week on Gen Next TV. We know Drew Dillinger is going to get his shot at the heavyweight champion Victor Vargas. Zodiac's got his shot in a Tate Fist Lights Out match against Brawler Morrison. I have been informed that also next week has been added, it will be a Chains match. Freddie Hudson taking on Flash Thompson. Both men will start that match with chains wrapped around their fists, and chains will be legal. You live by the chain, you die by the chain. In a chains match, Freddie Hudson, Flash Thompson, next week on Unmatched. Also, they didn't want it to happen. CM Squared came out earlier and attacked both Outlast and the Native Sons, thinking that if they laid everybody out, there would be no match. Well, as you heard, and as we know now, it's the biggest main event in Gen Next history. Triple threat. Anything goes. Falls count anywhere. The Native Sons, CM Squared, and Outlast. 3 teams with scores to be settled. Live for free next week on Generation Next Pro Wrestling's Unmatched. Triple threat, anything goes, falls count anywhere, there must be a winner. The Native Sons, CM Squared, and Outlast will go to absolute war next week on Gen Next TV's Unmatched. And right now, these two big behemoths are throwing everything they have at one another, trying to establish that dominance. And both want to get that momentum heading into their big matches next week at Unmatched. And we hope you join us, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that you will be here and watch with us as all of the superstars of Gen Next Pro Wrestling do what they do best with Generation Next Pro Wrestling's Unmatched. And Zodiac getting some momentum, splashing Drew Dillinger in the corner. And there's a second one. Oh, what a spin kick. For a man his size, Drew Dillinger has shown time and time again that he has great athleticism. Despite how huge of a man he is, he can move really well in that ring. And he is going to be quite the test for Victor Vargas next week. He's dragging Zodiac towards that corner. And now he's going up. But Zodiac grabbing onto that foot smartly. So Drew Dillinger cannot get any further up and get a chance to crash down on Zodiac. Because that definitely could have been the beginning of the end. And both these big men laying everything they have on the line. What a beautiful kick there. Zodiac showing his flexibility. Both these men wanting that precious momentum heading into their showdowns next week. Zodiac, as I said earlier, tape fist, lights out match with Brawler Morrison. Drew Dillinger's got his shot at the heavyweight title. A one-on-one with Victor Vargas next week. Oh, what a beautiful black hole slam. Oh, no, not quite enough. Drew Dillinger showing ring awareness by getting his hand on the rope. And what Zodiac setting up for? It looks like he was goozling Drew Dillinger. He was going to set it for. Oh! Zodiac got shoved backwards. Wait a minute. Because Brawler Morrison. Oh, he's got that fist taped. He caught Zodiac with a taped fist. 1, 2, and with an assist from Brawler Morrison, Drew Dillinger gets the win. And he is moving on next week, one-on-one with Victor Vargas. We will see you at Unmatched next week here on Gen Next TV.